Now let us discuss clinical features of COPD. A patient of COPD may come to the doctor with various clinical features. Chronic cough is the most important clinical feature of COPD, both in emphysema and chronic bronchitis. And as we have discussed, it should be for more than 3 months. Now, cough is mostly associated with sputum production due to excessive collection of mucus. Third is wheezing. Wheezing is due to obstruction of the airways. It is a sound that a doctor can hear by putting a stethoscope on chest. Then patient may feel chest tightness. Then dyspnea on exertion. Dyspnea means difficulty in the breathing. Then due to poor quality health, patient may lose the weight. Respiratory insufficiency, frequent chances of respiratory infections, and appearance of patient chest will be typical barrel shape. It is due to chronic hyperinflation of the alveoli and loss of elasticity of the lungs. So these are the common clinical features you may find in chronic bronchitis. After watching the clinical features, now doctor should diagnose the condition. So diagnosis always starts with history taking. After taking the history, go for physical examination, then go for investigations like PFT, pulmonary function test, then comes spirometry, arterial blood gas analysis, if required, CT scan of the lung. Then if you suspect the genetic cause, then screening for alpha 1 antitrypsin deficiency, X-ray, radiography. So these all are the tools to diagnose chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Now, what are the physical signs? Let us discuss. Just by watching the patient, by inspection, you may come to some conclusion. Like you can see the barrel shaped chest, then you can see participation of accessory respiratory muscles. They are prominent like sternocleidomastoid muscles, Kaleni muscles. Prolonged expiration during quiet breathing because of obstruction of the airway, expiration will be prolonged. Then expiration through pursed lips, obstructive sleep apnea. Then paradoxical retraction of the lower intercostal spaces during the inspiration, which is called Hoover's sign. And patient will have a typical position, which is called tripod position. Patient will be comfortable in that position. Now see what is called barrel shaped chest. You can compare normal chest with the barrel chest in this diagram. You can see the cut section superior view. You can see increase in both anteroposterior diameter as well as transverse diameter. So this is a typical barrel shaped chest found in COPD. Now see what is tripod position. You can see a patient sitting with leaning forward using both the upper limbs to rest his body. So this is a tripod position. So especially the patient with end stage COPD may adopt this position to relieve difficulty in the breathing. So weight is supported by both the palms or elbows. Now after having inspection, you will move to palpation. Now in clinical examination of the respiratory system in physiology, you are doing tactile vocal fremitus. So that tactile vocal fremitus will be decreased in COPD all over the sites. Then in percussion, there will be hyperresonant sound. It is due to overinflation of the alveoli, excessive collection of air. So the normal resonant sound will be more prominent. Then there will be depressed diaphragm. Diaphragm will be flattened due to overinflation of the airways. So this resonant sound will be heard for more than 1 or 2 intercostal space beyond normal range. Then there will be diminution of the area of absolute cardiac dullness because of overinflation of the lungs. The resonant area will cover dull area. Then comes auscultation. Now on auscultation you will clearly see expiration is taking more time than the inspiration, and it will be more if obstruction is more. Overall, breath sounds are reduced. The presence of the wheezing during quiet breathing, and sometimes a crackle can be heard if any infection is there. So these all are findings of clinical examination of COPD subjects. Now after completing the examination, let us move on to the diagnosis with blood test, with investigations. Now blood test will help if the symptoms are caused by an infection. An arterial blood gas test will measure oxygen level in the blood, and it is an indication that how our lungs are working, what is the efficiency of the lungs, and then we can judge the severity of the subjects, and according to severity we can manage oxygen therapy. Then comes radiology, radiological tools like X-ray and CT scan. So actually what is CT scan? It is a type of X-ray, but it creates a detailed image than a standard X-ray. So as per the doctor's view, he will choose to go for X-ray or for CT scan. And in this view, you will see heart, lungs and major blood vessels. And in COPD, there are typical findings visible in X-ray or CT scan. Sometimes these tools are also helpful to rule out another causes of this type of symptoms like cardiac causes. So to rule out any other causes and to confirm the COPD, X-ray and CT scan are very important investigations. Now let us discuss what will be the X-ray findings in chronic bronchitis patients. So sometimes there will be no any apparent abnormality visible in X-ray of a chronic bronchitis subjects. Sometimes thickened and increased lung markings are noted. Bronchovascular markings, white color markings, are more prominent than normal subjects. Now in emphysema, X-ray findings will be different and it will be typical. There will be marked overinflation with flattening of the diaphragm. Then the gap between the two ribs, which is called intercostal space, it will become widened. Your ribs will look horizontally, horizontal pattern of the ribs. Then a long and thin hard shadow because of overinflation of the lungs. And there will be decreased markings of lung peripheral vessels due to overinflation of alveoli. Now you can see here, this is an X-ray of emphysema patient. You can see ribs are almost horizontal. and the area between the two ribs intercostal space are widened. Now see the diaphragm. Diaphragm is flattened and you can see the heart shadow is elongated and narrow. So these all are X-ray findings of emphysema. Now sometimes doctor will go with CT scan, computed tomography. Actually this tool is having more sensitivity and specificity than X-ray, and especially in the case of emphysema this is very much helpful for evaluation of bullous disease. Now what is bullous disease? See in the diagram, in the below part you can see air collected cavities are visible. They are called bulla. So in X-ray they will not be visible clearly, but in CT scan you can have idea about their size. They are actually nothing but due to destruction of the wall of the alveoli, there is collection and trapping of the air in the pockets. These pockets are called bulla. Now after having radiological investigations, let us discuss other investigations. One is sputum examination. So doctor may sometimes go with sputum examination if patient has a productive cough. Sputum is the mucus that can come out, that is collected in the throat of the patient, and analyzing the sputum may sometimes help in identify the cause of breathing difficulties. Sometimes it will rule out infections, sometimes cancers. So to confirm further about cause of mucus production, you may go with sputum examination. Then electrocardiogram. Sometimes ECG is preferable if you are suspecting any heart pathology. Sometimes what happens, lungs and heart conditions are together, or sometimes only heart condition, and due to heart condition dyspnea. So to rule out that this dyspnea is not due to heart condition, we can go with electrocardiogram. Now as far as lungs are concerned, most important and useful investigation is PFT, pulmonary function test, also called spirometry. In our laboratory there are Hutchinson spirometer and you are doing your PFT on that Hutchinson spirometer. So you are familiar with it. So it will measure how well the lungs are moving air in and out. They will also measure how well the lungs are moving oxygen to the blood. So spirometry means measuring of the breath, and it is the most common PFT. It will measure various volumes and various capacities, and then after getting the results you may go with your diagnosis further. Now in this diagram a spirometer is visible. This is actually computerized spirometer or Medspirer. This is not a Hutchinson spirometer. Nowadays we have computerized spirometry. So patient is asked to take deep breath and then expire forcefully into this instrument. Now this instrument will have the sensor and transducer, and it will give you all the lung volumes and capacities. So it is very helpful tool to reach to your diagnosis. Now in this first diagram is what you are doing in our laboratory, Hutchinson spirometer, conventional spirometry, while in second diagram it is Medspirer. So both are having same indications and both are giving the same results, but this Hutchinson spirometry is not useful in few volumes and capacities. You can see the detailed diagram of Hutchinson's spirometer. There are two drums. One drum is filled with water and one inverted drum is filled with air. When you take you breath in or you breath out, this inverted drum will move accordingly, and accordingly you will obtain a graphical record. So you can see during inspiration the graph will go upwards, and during expiration the graph will come downwards, and you will get separate graph for each lung volume or capacity. See, this is a graph obtained by spirometry. You can see various lung volumes and capacities. You all know the definitions and normal values. You have done that practical, but we will have a separate lecture on lung volumes and capacities, their definition, their normal values, their physiological variability in male and female. Everything we will discuss later on in detail. At present, just watch the graph. See, when we will discuss the lung volumes and capacities, we will also discuss this FEV1, FVC. So the full form is forced expiratory volume in 1 second. FVC full form is forced vital capacity. These two, FEV1 and FVC, are very important to confirm the diagnosis whether there is obstruction or there is restriction. COPD is obstructive disease. So in COPD, FEV1 will be reduced, FVC will be normal, and the ratio of FEV1 to FVC will be reduced. Now, few conditions are restricting conditions like lung collapse, like cancer of the lungs, like sarcoidosis, occupational disorders. So, in restrictive lung disorders, the FEV1 will be reduced, but FVC will also be reduced. So, the ratio will be more or less normal. So, this ratio FEV1 to FVC is very important. The details how to get FEV1 and FVC we will discuss in lung volumes and capacity lecture. Now in computerized spirometry, we will be able to obtain this type of graphs, and by watching the shape of the graphs we may come to conclusion whether it is obstructive disease or restrictive disease. You can see this graph is also based on that three tools, FEV1, FVC, and that FEV1 FVC ratio. You can see the ratio is 0.56 in obstructive lung disease, while it is more or less normal 0.95 in restrictive lung disease. Now sometimes this type of classification is used for severity of COPD based on this FEV1 FVC ratio. So they are the GLOLD criteria. Criteria 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1 means mild, 2 is moderate, 3 is severe and 4 is very severe. So you will require finding of FEV1. If it is more than 80%, it is mild. If it is between 50 to 80%, it is moderate. If it is between 30 to 50%, it is severe, and less than 30% is very severe.